So you know how the Democrats screamed and yelled that the Bernie supporters didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, even though they did, even though that's complete bunk, and that you got to come together in unity, 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 right? And we're like, yeah, but we can still primary them in the primary. It's okay, right? Like you could still run in a primary, right? That's what I always thought. And then as long as like the Young Turks and the Justice Democrats, their thing is they primary the corporate Democrats, and if they win, then they're the thing. But if they lose, they still support the Democrats.
So you're implying that primaries should exist to be primaries.
Yeah.
This is an interesting theory. I don't know if everyone's on board, though.
I know I'm an outlier in this sense. That I think there should be a primary you should actually be able to run in a primary.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I thought that we had primaries. But it turns out House Democrats moved to hobble primary challengers. How are they doing it? How are they going to do it? Well, the campaign arm of the DCCC, that's the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the DCCC sent out this thing to all their potential operatives who work with people in primaries, all right, all the political consultant class and everybody. And the campaign arm on Friday sent out a list of hiring standards to more than 100 political firms, including one provision that made clear it will neither contract with nor recommend to House candidates any political vendors that work to oust sitting members of Congress. So what that means is the DCCC is now saying if you work on a campaign, a person or a company, work on a campaign that is primarying a sitting Democrat, they will no longer send you, and you will be blacklisted, put it that way. So what the Justice Democrats are doing, right, their whole existence is to primary corporate Democrats. So anybody who works on Justice Democrats campaigns where they primary a corporate Democrat will now be persona non grata as far as the DCCC is concerned going forward, meaning, well, I'm going to show that actually has huge ramifications. So they're trying to scare anybody who has any expertise in politics from working on a progressives campaign. That's what this is. This is yet another way. Remember I said they're going to invent ways to cheat progressives? This is another way that the Democratic Party is inventing to be, ironically, undemocratic. So doing this offers key protections to the caucus's moderate members. And let's remember, a moderate Democrat would be considered a moderate Republican any other place in the Western world. Just being against Medicare for all would put you in the right in any other country in the Western world. So
you're not even the center, on the right.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not in the middle. Like you're on the right.
Yeah. So these people,
anywhere else in the world,
these people that they're calling moderates, any other place in the world, we'd be considered a right winger. That's how far the Overton window has shifted. Barack Obama bragged that his policies were moderate Republican, and he's considered a liberal Democrat. Do you see what I'm talking about? The shift? That's what this is. So the DCCC is really protecting people who policies are right-wing. It is intended to help stymie attempts by insurgent progressive groups. So this is the Democratic Party inventing another rule, and what is the point of it? To stymie progressives. Why in the F do progressives keep who plan to primary incumbents deemed insufficiently liberal? But this also is to shield members of the party's ascendant liberal wing who represent safe Democratic territory and could face intra-party challenges of their own. The core mission of the DCCC is electing House Democrats, which includes supporting and protecting incumbents, the committee wrote in a memo. No, it actually isn't. The core mission isn't actually that. That's not it. that would imply a separate mission. The DCCC's core mission, supporting and protecting incumbents, no, their core mission is getting Democrats elected. Not protecting incumbents. What does that mean? That doesn't, no, protecting, making sure Democrats win. That's what, it's not about protecting is that in its mission statement? I don't think so. I bet it's not in their mission statement.
Hey, can I ask you something? Do you even think they have a mission statement? Because I'm looking at the website and I don't even see a mission. I don't see a mission statement. I see About Us, and the first 3 bullets are the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. That's what the DCCC is, the official campaign arm of the Democrats for the House of Representatives. And then the 3rd bullet, this is the only political committee in the country whose principal mission is to support Democratic House candidates every step of the way to fortify and expand our new Democratic majority.
Not primary, not incumbents. It doesn't say incumbents. It says the Democratic candidate, meaning whoever wins the primary, which is why the DCCC is supposed to stay out of primaries. Right?
Yeah, because that second mission doesn't sound so good. It doesn't sound democratic, dare I say.
The second, supporting and protecting
incumbents.
What if the incumbent is a fucking asshole?
And the people in the district don't like that person. You still support them? Why would? That's not what the DCCC's job is supposed to be.
So that's making sure if I'm elected to office, I'm never going to be challenged by somebody in my party.
If it was up to the DCCC, they would just make their congressional seats for lifetime appointments. They're actually get turned over every 2 years. That's what we wanted. 2 years they have to potentially get turned over, and it's and hey, we're the Democrats. It's a wide tent. There's no space in it for progressives, but we have an empty space in there for something. Big tent. Just don't want you in it. Isn't that crazy? So why is this a big deal, Jimmy? It could cripple would-be primary opponents' ability to entice top talent to join their staff. The DCCC independent expenditure arm doles out millions in contracts to consultants and drives more revenue toward them by connecting campaigns with vetted operatives. So they're threatening financial ruin if you work with a progressive challenging a corporate Democrat. That's what they're threatening. They're threatening financial ruin if you go, there's a whole professional class of people who work on political campaigns. That's what they do for a living. And, there's a lot to running a campaign, and you need professionals who know how to do things. The DCCC is oftentimes the gatekeeper for consultants to get to candidates, said Ian Russell, a campaign media strategist and former top official at the committee. Unless you have a steady stream of income coming from another source, it would be very difficult to navigate the House world if you were shut out by the DCCC. So that's what they're trying to do. So they're trying to make it yet another elitist inside institution where outsiders aren't allowed in. That's what the DCCC is trying to do. You're not allowed in. And if you try to break into our club, we're going to give you an economic death sentence. That's the opposite of a democratic. And by the way, I can't wait to see the mental gymnastics they do when they primary Ilhan Omar, right? Yeah. Am I right? Because whoa, wait a minute, whoa. Ha 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 ha. So there you go. We're the DCCC. You better bend the knee. I think that's their saying, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
DCCC bend the knee.
Yep, there it is.
Say there, DCCC bend the knee. We're the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee that hates democracy. Yeah. There you go. Okay. This next presidential campaign can't come fast enough for me. Because it's interesting to see all the new ways they're cheating progressives.
I just was looking at the DCCC website, and there's no real mission other than those 3 bullets that I read to you. And then Sherry Bustos is the chairwoman on it, and this is how they say: Bustos is a staunch advocate for keeping the Democratic agenda focused on fighting to get results. on the kitchen table challenges that all Americans face. So I like that they said kitchen table, and they're so real. Addressing the cost of health care and prescription drugs.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you see about that?
Again,
They're not talking Medicare for all, and raising wages by rebuilding America. I don't know what that means. And finally, and cracking down on corruption in government.
all right, that's fantastic. So so this woman, Ali Mutnik, tweets out, new DCCC makes moves to block primary challenges against incumbents. And there you go. And so underneath that is progressive sweetheart Zephyr Teachout. And she replies, they don't like AOC? What about the IDC in New York? Cool with that? So she's upset at the Democratic Party again. She's like, they don't like AOC? No. I don't understand this tweet, Ron. Do you understand this tweet? Like, what does she do? Like, you don't know that the establishment hates her?
That's taking you off guard?
Well, I don't understand why she tweeted that. And she goes, what about the IDC in New York? Well, that's the Democrats who Andrew Cuomo allowed to go against the party and vote with Republicans. So we couldn't get any progressive legislation in New York, the state. And there was the IDC is a group of Democrats who caucused with the Republicans.
Yeah, I think it's a rhetorical tweet. Like, I don't think she's directing that at the person who's sharing the article.
Right.
I think she's directing that at the article itself.
Yeah,
like
she's
at the
directing that.
concept.
She's going, they don't like AOC? I mean, I don't understand why.
Well,
she's
she's
just being kind of like, oh, really? They don't like AOC? Of course they don't. She's saying that, right? Oh,
I think that's what she means.
Okay,
by that
that's
tweet,
what she
yes.
means. She's like, oh, they don't like AOC? Well, what about the IDC? And okay, I get what she's saying there now. It took me a while. I'm dumb. Takes me a little while.
No, it took me a second too. I mean, I had to go through the thread. And,
okay,
but
so now
I'm pretty
I got
sure
it.
that's what she means. Yes.
So now RJ Eskow gets in and he says, ironically, it may help primary challengers since so many of those consultants are expensive and mediocre. So he's saying, well, if none of those establishment political operatives work with progressives, it might help them because they have a bunch of bad ideas. And he says, but this is deeply undemocratic. This is a deeply undemocratic move that will hurt the party's outreach efforts. You think? You think? And then Zephyr Teachout comes back with, I agree, but I am still a big believer in the importance of political parties. And I can't celebrate this. I really want a party that functions. So I don't understand, like, is this a news to you that this party isn't functioning for progressives? Like, this isn't news to anybody. They literally cheated Bernie. Like, not by a little, by an unbelievable election fraud was committed against Bernie and the progressives. And they're writing new rules every day to screw over progressives. Like, this is, so that's what I don't, again, this is probably, I'm probably misreading this or something because I'm dumb. But I don't understand. What are you waiting for? Like, are you still waiting to be convinced that the Democratic Party is literally an enemy of progressives? Is that your party needs to function? It doesn't function. It's not functioning. You guys lost to Trump. How functioning is that? We're in 8 wars under Barack Obama. How functioning is that? We had a supermajority Democratic Party, and we couldn't even get Medicare for all or a public option. We got a right-wing healthcare plan anyway. The same thing we would have had if Barack Obama didn't get elected. That's the same goddamn thing we would have got. So what is this? So I don't understand. What are you waiting for? The whole system is so it reminds me of that Nellie McKay song. So what she's saying is, oh, our party is broken. That's what she's saying, and I really want a party that functions. And what Nellie McKay says, the system isn't broken, it's fixed. And that's what this is. The party's functioning perfectly. This is exactly how the party's supposed to function. It protects the powerful, which is why Bernie ran in the first place. Like, this is a kind of disconnect I don't understand. And I'm literally mean, I might not understand what she means. But if she means what I think she means, it's perplexing as all get out to someone like me. Is it perplexing to our panel?
Yes, it is. It is perplexing. Like, how do you not see what's been happening to the Democratic Party? How do you not see that?
Right? Is it perplexing
Well,
to you, Ron?
I don't know if she necessarily. I mean, it's hard to read so much into just one tweet
I
on
know.
a thread, and I think she's venting the frustrations that all of us share. And I'm a big believer in the importance of political parties too.
Me
So
too.
much so that I think there should be more of them.
Yes.
And I want another one. And, going through this whole story, I keep remembering the trip to Washington, D.C. we all took to try to start a new party, a viable new party. And, here is yet another reason why we need that and why it's time.
And it's just like, is she just being obtuse on purpose? Like I guess everyone is. I guess it's not just her. I mean, I'm saying even Bernie and everybody. Bernie never talked about that they cheated him, never talked about a fix for it. They're going to push it to a second. They didn't even get rid of superdelegates. They're going to push it to a second round this year, which is what it looks like is going to happen, which is what I predicted would happen at the moment they announced they were getting rid of superdelegates on the first round of ballot. I'm like, well, they're just going to push it to the second round. How many? I mean, they're going to get Trump again. Like, when do you wake up?
Well, I mean, to start something viable. And this is something we've all talked about. You need some heavy hitters. You need some big political heavy hitters. I wanted that to be Bernie. That's why we all showed up.
You can't start a third. The way you start a third party is with people who are already popular politically.
Right.
So
you need a
Bernie,
movement.
Zephyr, Nina,
Yes.
Tulsi, Ro-Khanna. This is how you start a party. Bernie is half of the Democratic base. It's not happening. It's not. This isn't. It's not going to happen. I know. I'm just. You can see how frustrating it is, right, for someone like me. And the whole idea that this defeatist attitude that you can't. It's rigged against third parties. You know what the Democratic Party is? It's rigged against progressives. So which rigged system do you want to fight? Do you want to fight the system they've rigged to help diminish third parties, or do you want to fight inside the Democratic Party? You got to fight somebody. Anyway, I'm so sick and tired of this debate. It's so stupid.
Well, it's just one of those things. It's tough for people to imagine, and I include myself in even. I mean, it's really hard to grasp things that we just haven't seen.
There's a moment, right?
But there's a moment. I mean, that's the thing. Oh, we can't have extensive nationwide route. Well, you just say that because we haven't had it, but we used to have it,
right.
So we can have it again. Oh, we're never going to have another. No, we've had it in the past. We haven't had. This hasn't happened since the Whigs. Okay, well, history repeats itself.
Yes.
Sometimes it takes a while, but it repeats itself. We also haven't had wealth discrepancy like this since ancient Egypt. So maybe it's time for another revolutionary thing to happen. And what the hell? We may as well try.
I was exactly going to say exactly what you said about, he go, hasn't happened since the Whig Party. Yeah, we haven't had income inequality in the United States since the Gilded Age. So that's why it's necessary now. And when Bernie started every campaign speech in 2016 with "sounds like you're ready for a revolution," I didn't know that revolution included supporting Hillary Clinton. We're announcing our live dates for 2019. We're going to Ventura, California, Hermosa Beach, California, Tempe, Arizona, Austin, Texas, Chicago, Portland, all over the country. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets. If you'd like to support the show, please join our Patreon or premium membership. We give you hours of bonus content every week. And remember, if you think you're subscribed, you might not be. Check to make sure you're subscribed and click the bell so you get a notice every time we drop a clip. Thanks for your support.